From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings Lalate.
It's a big morning here on Mornings Lalate with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go over your monthly stimulus check and why you're likely to get more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon, a done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. These are checks for my seniors and checks for my workers, all walks of life. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people in the recon. Then, in the final 15 minutes of this video, state of the final 15, we go over the vote, the bills, the dates, and there's great news from Chuck, great news from Nancy, Bernie, and the president, as the recon is going for a vote first. It's going in concurrent with the bipartisan. The bipartisan is not going to the finish line and leaving the recon by the side or the wayside. Recon is going first, and I have all the incredible details about what's happening over the weekend, what's happening this new week, and all the details you need to know. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up with raising up your benefits lifetime, and then we go to the big money that viewers continue to get. Now upwards of $30,000 that viewers are getting from this channel, like Nisi, Mark, and also Nancy. I'm going to go over how you get all this big money. It's a big morning. It's a big day. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. Let's get to all the deliciousness, starting right now. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful day. How's the weather where you are? I hope you're having a beautiful day. The weather has been gorgeous here in Southern California. Easy, breezy, cool, onshore breeze for the surf here in Southern California and Santa Monica. I hope the weather is good where you are. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuned in from. And how's the weather? In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we go over that monthly stimulus check and why you're likely to get more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. This is not third stimulus with the children's checks. This is fourth stimulus. This is seniors, workers, and everyone across the board. I have the latest details about the recon and all those $3.5 trillion of checks coming to you. And then we got to the vote, the bills, and the dates. The recon is going first. Reassurances are coming in from Nancy, Chuck, Bernie, and the president. I'll have the latest details, including statements from Jalapal, that assures us that the recon is going first, not the bipartisan. And we'll be going over what's happening this week, what happened over the weekend, and why the news cycle is getting very heated. In the final 15 minutes of the video, you need to stay tuned to, where I go over everything that's happening in these final 7 days. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. And then the big money that viewers are getting from this channel, upwards of $30,000 per person. I'll show you how you get this big money. And this is Ally, America's only 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, like right now from Santa Monica, and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Morning's Crypto, and then at noontime. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you for this big week of subscriber growth. Big, huge week. I told you to stay with me all weekend long because there's a lot of breaking news. There is. And all this new week there will be. So I'm glad you didn't leave for the weekend and came back on the Monday. There's too much news to miss. So hit that subscribe button, like the video, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut right to that monthly stimulus check starting right now. House bill, Senate proposal, both monthly, but with the pandemic ravaging out of control once again, the House looks totally different. Let's go over the details. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year. That is a monthly stimulus check. Senate approach, July to December. Let's go over the payouts. House, $1,000 after the first month of $2,000. Senate monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Now we realize that the pandemic is far from over. With the pandemic far from over, suddenly the House bill looks totally different. Pandemic plus 1 year. Well, with the pandemic far from over, the House would certainly pay more than just 1 year checks, which would be more than $13,000 from those House members. Compare that to this and the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now. Vote House or Senate. House or Senate. I want to see you voting and tell me where you're tuning in from. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent that if you got a third, you get a fourth. Single individuals, 75,000 or less, Democrats represent you get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less, Democrats represent you get a fourth stimulus check, double it. Family of four, Democrats represent you get a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDIVA, Democrats represent you get a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check would be the same for adult dependents and everyone else. And the fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. It's a monthly check. I learned my lesson again over the weekend. I was at Ron Portman's pork belly roast. It smelled delicious when I walked in, and I saw Senator Portman from afar. Remember, he's that senator who said, "Get back to work, you're lazy." So I didn't want to wave at him from afar, so I walked up to him and I said, "Hello, Senator Portman. Thank you for inviting me." "Oh, thank you for coming, Lalate. I recognize you from your purple shirts. How are you?" "Good, Senator Portman. I didn't want to wave from you from afar." "No, I'm not a waivable check." "I know that, Senator Portman. In fact, you don't give any checks." But I was about to have some of this pork belly sandwich, and it's not cooked enough. It hasn't been worked on enough. I think you need to get back to work on this pork belly check. Get back to work and account for your benefits as well. Get out of here, Ollie. Not very funny. And that was the end of my time at his pork belly roast. And he did not extend my benefits either. So there you go. In the second half of this video, we'll be going over the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks that come to the American people. There's always a troll that says something like, "You're not getting any money." Well, there's $3.5 trillion of money coming to us. I'll put you on the list of people who doesn't want the $3.5 trillion because we'll take it. You don't want it, you can go over there, Karen, and use the same hairstyle you used last week. So there we go. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. That's coming up in the second half of this video. And then in the third half, we go over the exciting great news. The recon will go for a vote first. This is amidst a confusion and a little bit of neuroses by me over the weekend, wondering if the bipartisan was going to go first. Not happening. So I have all the great news coming up in the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay to the very end. But first, let's get some money. And boy, get a pen and paper ready because I'm going to get you some money for rent, utilities, food, and homeowners mortgage and utility assistance. When this channel first launched, I said I can get you, when this channel started covering this issue a few weeks ago, I said I can get you $5,000 for rent, 4 to 6 months of rent. This is what's now happening. Yes. Deliciousness. Elizabeth overnight got $27,000 for rent from this channel. Congratulations, Elizabeth. Mark got $25,000 for rent. Nancy got $24,000 of rent. Richard, $22,000, and Nisi, underneath the graphic overlay, got $20,000 for rent. Wow. Then when I said for utilities, I can get you $300 for utilities, it suddenly became $3,000 for some viewers, and then this. Nancy got $7,000 for utilities just a few days ago. Mark got $6,500 for utilities. Angela got $5,000 for utilities. And then when I talked about SNAP, I said, well, I had some viewers getting $5,000 to $6,000 for SNAP. Let's look at this. Deliciousness. Louis getting $18,000 for SNAP. John, $10,000 to $12,000. Nancy, $5,000. And if you notice people's names reoccurring, it's the combo. Like Art Sullivan, who got 3 items. Look at this. Nancy got $32,000 from this channel. Mark, $32,000. Nisi, $23,000. What's going on? That's what we do on this channel. This is a check cashing channel, not check tracking channel. In April of last year, this channel launched. When people's EIDL loans and grants were not coming, under the law, it was supposed to come within 3 days, but we did not hold up a calendar and say, it's the end of this month, where's my check? Because the check was not coming. We couldn't track it. But I got those checks for those viewers. $25 million of checks I got, and they cashed them. EIDL loan and EIDL grants. In fall of 2020, it happened again. When second stimulus checks were not coming, nothing to track, but I got viewers $250,000 of rent checks. Like Tyrone, his family 4 out of Boston got $15,000 for rent, paid all their rent the spring. But now we're doing it again. The only difference is you. So get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to go over all this big money I want you to get. We're going to go over rent, utilities, mortgage, and homeowners utilities. This money is available for you in different places. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. They say yes. Also listen for the keywords I'm going to discuss. That has been key to helping people get approved. Are you ready? Here we go. Rent. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. The key words you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. That's rent assistance because of COVID. For utilities and mortgage, you're going to say mortgage or homeowners utilities assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Ron Portman's fan club. They don't know that. And there you go. Congratulations also to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful money for rent. And if you got money for rent, post in the live chat or utilities right now. Let's cut to some utility. Let's cut to some SNAP. Yes, you saw Louis in $18,000. What is SNAP? It is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is easier than even a stimulus check. How much does it pay? A fortune. A family of four out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And we're killing it. Lynn Glenn got it as well, SNAP, for herself, her son, and her mom, Gail, got it. And we are only 10 minutes in this video. We're flying. We have gotten $25,000 for rent for some cases, some viewers, $7,000 for utilities for other viewers, and $18,000 for SNAP, and we're just getting started. The next pot of the money is the refund check from your state due to overpayment and a computer error of unemployment benefits. The federal government has ordered that money returned back to you. Where's it landing? Direct deposit. How do you track it? Reach out to your state and say, hey, state, where's that check due to overpayment of unemployment benefits and a computer error? And this time, when you look it up to track it for me, can you plug in your keyboard? I always forget to plug in my keyboard. So there you go. One viewer got $3,000 for this. Another viewer got $5,000. Another viewer got $4,500. If you got this as well, post in the live chat. And finally, the refund check coming back from IRS for that 2020 tax return you paid, taxes you paid. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. If you haven't gotten it, it is a waivable check. Sorry, Ron. Don't tell Mitch. It's a waivable check, and the latest wave came out, and it had an average refund check of $1,265. Deliciousness. The direct deposit started July 14th for this wave, and paper check July 16th. There's a new wave every week. Now, before I continue with this, the spirit of this channel is viewers helping viewers. And so if you're on the live chat, help viewers right now by jumping in there and posting your success stories, whether it's $1 or $10,000 you've gotten for rent, utilities, mortgage, or homeowners utilities. 3 wonderful things happen when you're helping viewers. Number 1, when viewers see viewers see you post your success story, then it has a different resonating effect than even me showing graphics of $32,000 of viewers are getting. So post your success story, inspires other people. Number 2, if you got multiple items, it inspires people to get multiple items. Art Sullivan got 3, Nisi got 3. Mark got only 2, and he got 30,000. So get to work, Mark. You're slacking off at 30,000. You can get some SNAP, get to 40,000. I'm just kidding. And there you go. Nisi got 32,000 from 3 items. Nancy. It inspires people to get multiple items. Finally, it updates us about the items. So post your success stories right now. Let's cut now to the refund check for that IRS. Where's it landing? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When this month? Can you? How much? Let's say you have $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You pay $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Can you track it? Yeah, go to irs.gov. Do a transcript search, and 70% of the time it'll work. It'll reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid, and then it'll reveal some stuff that you didn't want to know, stuff that you sort of wish you forget. It'll reveal when Ron Portman was on Star Search. Did he also go to get his hair at Amazon Hair? And then finally, can we top that? Yes. It'll also reveal 70% of the time the refund check coming back from IRS. And we can top that as we go into the second part of your 4th stimulus check update of 2021 starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people in the 4th stimulus recon. Wow. Bernie Sanders called this a historic day. It is a historic day because it's one of the biggest day of payouts to the American people. Americans will get $3.5 trillion of checks under the 4th stimulus recon of all different types, whether you're seniors or workers. I'm going to detail some of them later in this video. This is wonderful news. And how did they get to the spot? Initially, the recon had roads and bridges in there. It was too big. They had to take the roads and bridges out. Why? Because Democrats said, I'm not going to vote for this recon with the roads and bridges in there. It's too big. They took the roads and bridges out, shrinking the recon, putting the roads and bridges to the bipartisan, making the bipartisan passable and the recon passable. And they are now both set up to pass. The confirmation came from conservative publication Op-Ed, recently confirming my reporting. It said the following: the higher the price tag was on the recon originally, the harder it was to pass. There you go, confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take some of the spending out of the recon, roads and bridges, and put it into the bipartisan, it made the overall price tag of the recon smaller. There you go. In other words, the recon was made passable by the bipartisan. Obviously, great news. So once the progressives were able to shrink the recon, they were able to add a little bit more back in there and make it big and bold. The price tag, $3.5 trillion. The Democrat caucus met and have agreed to senators for that $3.5 trillion price tag. And this is where they wanted to land. Representative Elon Omar, Democrat, Minnesota, and also progressive, said, we have to have a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, Elon, $3.5 trillion. Congratulations. And Representative Richie Torres said we have to have a larger recon. You got it, $3.5 trillion. The progressives were meeting with the White House daily to ensure that the recon went big enough. They got it, $3.5 trillion. How did they do this? By protecting the recon. Everything that's in the recon is progressive policies and checks. And the White House was telling the progressives, protect the recon. Senator Brian Schatz and Representative Jalopal, both progressives, said that the White House considered the progressive priorities in the recon their own priorities. So what is a recon? What is a bipartisan? Bipartisan and recon are two terms which I use on this channel, but broadcast media is getting an F in reporting of this week. How are they doing such a bad job? What they're doing is they're using other terms which are confusing viewers. Then they're confusing the terms, using the wrong term for the wrong item. And even worse is that sometimes they are misconfusing the entire situation. Let's go over all the details, starting with the terms right now. I only use two terms on this channel, so let's start with those two terms and understand some more. There's two words, recon and bipartisan. Recon is our money, also called reconciliation, also called the budget bill. The price tag you'll recognize from it is $3.5 trillion. People that will be quoting an article about it are a AOC or a Bernie Sanders. The recon is the money for you. Bipartisan, in turn, is infrastructure or roads and bridges. Price tag, $1.5 trillion or smaller. People quoting an article about it are Kristen Sinema or Mitt Romney or Ron Portman. Now, ironically, broadcast media is butchering this by using one word to refer to both of them or using the wrong word to refer to either of them. But for now, that's easy breezy. Recon and bipartisan. Who writes the recon? The Democrats write the recon for the Democrats to be passed by Democrats. The actual lead authors are the subcommittee members of the House. Under the Constitution, the subcommittees of the House are delegated those subject matters to write on. There's not a lot of people in those subcommittees of the House. It's just a few people. The Senate subcommittee members also help them. Under the Constitution, for example, House Ways and Means is responsible for writing stimulus checks, also unemployment benefits. When those subcommittees are done, let's say there's 10 of them, and they got those pages written, let's say it's 10 pages, they send them up to Chuck. He combines it 100 pages and puts a big S on it for Laverne and Shirley. Salty, seductive, sugar-coated. So what? Schumerish. No, for Senate. And that's when you see the reconciliation bill. But before you see it, we have a bill. We have an emoji for that. Not bill yet. And until we have the bill, we don't know exactly what's in there. Because the progressives and the Democrats don't want you to see it. Much like a pop singer doesn't want you to see the album or the songs on the album until it's released. So no surprises about this. They just don't want you to hear the song until it's released. Broadcast media and myself agree upon one subject matter is that we just don't have the recon because there's no constitutional requirement they show you what they're voting in favor of, voting against, adding or retracting until they debut the recon. And when they debut the bill, it's not law yet. That's coming up later in this video. So if you do see a naysayer, and I did see one on early mornings LA today, say, I haven't heard. Honey, the reason why you have, Sarah, Karen, the reason why you haven't heard is because the recon bill hasn't been debuted yet. And can we top that? We can. As Jalopal recently wrote Schumer a letter saying, Chuck, call the vote on the recon. Well, he is going to vote on the recon now. Great news, because that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, part of the 100-plus House Democrats, who had recently written the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks into the forced stimulus package. Whoa, that is great news. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of that House Ways and Means subcommittee, the same one you just went over? Yep, that same one. Recently wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks into the forced stimulus package. Yes, but Purple Power, you got to keep these people to their promises. That's a great promise. They're also giving you fist stimulus checks. And can we top that? We can. As the president has done it, Biden did it. 6 weeks ago, he went overseas to have a ceremonial signature, but the actual signature happened a few days ago. It's the global minimum corporate tax rate minimum. Oh, I'm exhausted. That's the most exhausting thing ever. And because it's exhausting, it's great because it's not in forced stimulus. Number one, it's easier to write forced stimulus because this confusing thing ain't in there. Easier to call the vote on the recon because the confusing thing ain't in there. Easier to vote on the recon because the confusing thing ain't in there. And easier to pass the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, we'll be going over the voting, the dates, the bills, and what's going on over the weekend. Yes, they worked over the weekend. Surprise. And what's going on next week. A lot of great news as I go back and realize Chuck, Bernie, Nancy, Jalapa, and the president all have your back. The recon is going for a vote first, and it's not going by itself, nor is the bipartisan going by itself. Of all the details for you in the final 15 minutes of this video, stay for that after this commercial break. But something more wonderful than that, the volunteers. If you're having problems getting rent, utilities, SNAP, or internet, reach out to the volunteers. They're in the community page. Open the description of this video. Go down the description, you'll see an emoji of a house. Click that link, it sends you over to the community page. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them. They'll help you get that big money. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds with the final 15 on this morning's broadcast today. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Daily for the excitement of the new LA live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA at 9 a.m. Home LA returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LA at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA. And the excitement continues on Mornings LA right now on this big morning's broadcast as we go into the final 15 minutes when I'll be answering your questions on air about the vote. All these details are heating up, and I'll have everything you need to know across the board. So with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record. I want you to hit that subscribe button and be part of this family. Thank you for all the incredible subscriber growth this week and this weekend. It's a big week ahead, and there's a lot of moving parts changing by the minute. I really am excited that you stayed with me all weekend long because there was a lot of breaking news over the weekend, and I said if you missed the weekend's broadcast, you may get confused by the week. So thank you for staying in on the weekend and watching all the shows. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto live on air. Excuse me, coming up next is Morning's Crypto live on air, and then noontime at 11 a.m. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video to 3,000 likes and consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Let's get right into the surprising developing details about fifth stimulus. This is this fall, September, and fifth stimulus raises your benefits up for lifetime. This was promised by the president during his run for presidency and during the transition time, but he did not deliver. And now the Democrats are taking care of this for you. When would fifth stimulus start? The legislation for fifth stimulus would start drafting in September. It would go to a vote about October or November. And this would raise your benefits up immediately. First, they'll raise your benefit limits up. Then they'll remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the marriage penalty, remove the income exclusion. Let's go over all those details starting right now. First, who gets this? You do. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. First thing they'll do is they'll raise your benefits up lifetime. Then they'll apply your benchmark. The benchmark will be applied approximately December. What is the new benchmark? Inflation. Where is inflation going? It's going to be transitory. What's transitory mean? That's a fancy word said by Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve on Capitol Hill recently. What does it mean, transitory? It means a temporary spike. When is that temporary spike? In December. Yes, right when they apply our benchmark? Yes, what perfect timing. So how high? Well, I've been reporting 5% is the spike, and that's what Wall Street is saying. Let's do the analysis right now. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply that benchmark. And if it's 5%, your benefits will go up 5%. Additionally, lifetime, not just next year. Wow, because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the inflation rate is 2% the year after that, you'll be a +2, +5%. It's incredible, great news. Then they're going to move the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you have room to have some muddled. Did you call this muddled? This is not muddled. This is STL Cardinal Red. You'll be able to have some STL Cardinal Red Crayola crowns in your hand and some stimulus checks. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away, and you'll be able to do a pair dance. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interests. Like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear loss of benefits. And if your benefits were canceled, they will be restored. That is fifth stimulus. But boy, if you're in the live chat and you notice people who have a purple hawk emoji next to their name and you don't, consider becoming a member. These purple hawks have learned from me how to get these enormous sums of money, like $32,000 for Nancy and $32,000 for Mark and $23,000 from Nisi. They're getting multiple sums of money because these are monies that are auto application based under these stimulus packages. No one is automatically sending you $32,000. You need to know where it is, and I'm telling them how to get it. Every day I'm delivering to viewers a breakdown of all this big money in the stimulus packages. So from the community page on YouTube. When second stimulus passed, and it was a $600 stimulus check in December of last year, I said, sure, it's a $600 stimulus check, but I'm going to get you $6,000. I got Tyrone $15,000 for his family, 4 out of Boston. When third stimulus passed earlier this year, it's a $14 stimulus check. I said, sure, but I'm going to get you $14,000. You just saw the graphic. I'm not getting $14,000. I'm getting viewers $32,000. So consider becoming a member, and you get all that information delivered to you daily from me, handwritten from the YouTube community page, and become a member. It's underneath the video and in the top of the chat. Meantime, fifth stimulus will also have another stimulus check. That stimulus check will come from those House Ways and Means subcommittee members. And that stimulus check will be for next year. It will not overlap with the fourth at all. All right, with that, let's get into the final 15 of the final 7, starting right now as we go over what's happening in the next 7 minutes in this final 7 days in this final 15 minutes of this video. First, the recon. Done. Deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. This is a historic day for the American people. All checks for lots and different walks of life, including my seniors and my workers. Checks for all different types of people. Bernie Sanders went in asking for $7 trillion of them and said he was ecstatic because he got $3.5 trillion. All his programs got paid for 100%, just short a period of time. Probably half, because 3.5 is half the time of 7. And this is a historic moment. Now, if you've seen some of the naysayers over the last 4 or 5 months, they've run out of their excuses. First, they would say things like, there's nothing in there for you, it's just roads and bridges. No, that's recon. Then when people realized that the recon is separate from the roads and bridges, then they said, you're not getting any money in the recon. Yeah, we are. We're getting $3.5 trillion of checks, Karen. So Karen, if you don't want any of the $3.5 trillion of checks, we're keeping a running list, and we'll put your name on the list if you don't want any of this $3.5 trillion of checks. So what are some of those checks? Well, we don't have the bill yet, but here are some of the provisions that are reportedly also in in the $3.5 trillion of checks. Free school meals for all, checks. Tax break, checks. Cheaper prescription medication, checks. Immigration reform, checks. Greener farming, checks. Election checks. Free internet across the board, all across the country. They're going to give money to local cities so that they can offer you free internet. Then clean energy checks, and then checks for my workers and checks for my seniors. Checks for my workers, alike checks for bargaining rights, checks for independent contractors, checks for unions. Then checks for my seniors, alike Medicare expansions, checks for lower eligibility, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing care. And there you go. $3.5 trillion of checks for you under the fourth stimulus recon. All progressive priorities. Let's now cut over to the bipartisan, the roads and bridges. The bipartisan had 3 votes in the last week, all to advance the bipartisan or end discussion. The first one failed, the second 2 passed. What have they been doing on the bipartisan roads and bridges over the weekend? They've been writing the bill, and they were supposed to have the bill ready by Saturday, 2 days ago. It was not ready, but they say that the roads and bridges bill, will be ready by Monday, and that the vote will be coming this week. It's incredible, great news. So now let's cut back to the recon. Is the bipartisan roads and bridges vote going to happen before the recon? Absolutely not. If you saw me yesterday, I was a little bit neurotic because I had not seen Chuck Schumer talk a lot about the recon, talking instead a lot about the bipartisan. And then I went back to the quotes and I realized Chuck did speak about the 2-pass getting to the finish line and the 2-pass being passed into law by the August recess just a few days ago. Yes, in fact, one of the viewers in the live chat just a few minutes ago said that Chuck Schumer was on the floor today and has actually talked about the 2-pass. In referring to 2-pass, it refers to recon, your path, and the bipartisan. So why was Chuck speaking so much about the roads and bridges? One of you actually had a very good insight about this, and I really think this is really what was happening. The bipartisan, the roads and bridges, we all know, was slow. It was it was taking too much time. It was getting delayed. It was slow. It was holding us up. So he started trying to get this bipartisan roads and bridges going and getting it going, and it worked. And now the bipartisan roads and bridges is ready in bill format as early as Monday for a vote. But is it going for a vote before the recon? Absolutely not. A series of quotes from Nancy Pelosi, Bernie Sanders, the President, Jalapa, and Chuck Schumer confirm it's not going first. In fact, here is first Nancy. Nancy said a few weeks ago the following. As I said, there won't be an infrastructure roads and bridges bill unless we have the recon bill first, plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan bill unless we have the recon bill passed first by the U.S. Senate. On Thursday, Bernie Sanders went to meet with Nancy Pelosi. She reaffirmed her position. Thank goodness. Over on the House side, all the House Democrats have asserted their position as well. Do not send the House the bipartisan roads and bridges first, or it goes in the wastebasket. Jalapa said a few days ago that she had asked her Democrats in the House, would you agree to pass the infrastructure roads and bridges first? Absolutely not. We did a poll of our members, and the overwhelming majority said they're not going to vote in favor of the bipartisan unless it comes with a recon. There you go. That's Jalapa. Now let's go to the president. The president has your back. He specifically said, do not send me one bill or I'm not signing it. You must send me 2 bills together or I'm not signing either of them. He said, I'm not just signing the bipartisan bill and forgetting about the rest that I propose, recon. I propose a significant piece of legislation and all the parts are equally important. If one comes to me, and this is the only one that comes to me, I'm not signing it. It's in tandem. They must come to me in tandem. There you go. President said it, Pelosi said it, Jalapa, and Schumer said it just a few days ago, that both paths will get done by the August recess. All right, great news. So it's never a bad thing to be neurotic as I was yesterday, because I had seen so much talk about the bipartisan, but very little talk about the recon. Here's what you need to know. Do the Republicans want to have the bipartisan go for a vote before the recon? Absolutely. Do the Republicans just want to pass the bipartisan? Absolutely. But who calls the vote? Does Chuck have any, excuse me, does Mitch have any say into when things are called for a vote, or Ron Portman, or Kristen Sinema? No. None of these people have any say as to what is called for a vote. Only two people, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, the only two people who determine when things are called for a vote. And if they have your back and the president has your back, we are fine. Let's cut now to the recon bill. We do not have the recon bill yet. We have an emoji for this, not bill yet. But when we see that recon bill, then we have another emoji, not law yet. This is critical because the Senate and the House Democrats have both said we are ready to modify the recon when it comes to us. Yes, this is great because the recon may not be perfect. It may be imperfect. It may leave something out. It may have something the wrong amount. Guess what? Democrats on both the House and Senate side have said, well, this has been in the subcommittee that has, 10 people for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. I haven't had an opportunity to even touch it. I want to modify it. And guess what? That's not one person. The subcommittee members are a few people. The House is hundreds of people. The Senate is 50 Democrats. They all want to touch it and modify it. Yes, this is great news because if something's not perfect in there and imperfect, we need to modify. Purple power, you need to push. You need to push across the board. Number 3, I expect a strange dynamic for the Roads and Bridges Monday. When broadcast media is back in the studio, financial news channels back in the studio, and they go on air and say, Kristen Sinema is trying to regulate crypto in the Roads and Bridges bill. Excuse me? When did that happen? It was over the weekend. Over the weekend? What do you mean over the weekend? And they're calling the vote right away. What? This is not a minor part of legislation. This is a massive regulation of cryptocurrency slid in on a Friday evening into a bill for a vote next week for Roads and Bridges by Kristen Sinema. I don't think Republicans are going to like it because Republicans own crypto. I don't think Democrats are going to like it because Democrats own crypto. I think it's going to be a big shocker. So it may snowball against her. Finally, what's important for you to know is that this weekend was jam-packed with news, as you saw. This week will be jam-packed with news. It's very, very important to stay focused. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you under the fourth stimulus recon. That is confirmed. Bernie Sanders confirms it, Tim Kaine, Chuck Schumer, everyone confirms $3.5 trillion of checks of all different kinds are coming to you. But how things are voted on, when they're voted on, are going to be very, very heated throughout this week. So it's important to stay positive, stay focused. Finally, a couple messages. 1, thank you for all the subscriber growth this last week. Always stay positive, always stay focused. Number 2, I want you to continue to push. You've been doing a great job on social media, Purple Power. This is not the time and place to sit back and feel happy or confident. You need to push down the line because everything is still always in flux. Finally, one of the few things that has been annoying me, and I've been seeing this from some viewers, is they jump in the live chat and they say, is he live? Is he taped? Is he live? Is he taped? Is he live? Is he taped? What's the big difference? I could have taped this 5 seconds before it airs live and just taped and uploaded it. It's so disrespectful. So please do not say those words. Is he live? Is he taped? Is he live? Is he taped? I love the live interaction with you, but if I'm not live and I'm taped, it doesn't make it any less of a recording. The afternoons LA shows and evenings LA shows are always taped, and they have bigger viewership than the morning shows that are live. So I don't know why. I don't even know why people ask that question. Is he live or is he taped? You'll see if it's live because there's a button underneath the video that says live. It'll say live. And you'll see if it's taped. It'll say, and when it's live, it says premiering now, meaning premiering. It means it's new. Or maybe I missay that. Well, you'll see when it's live. And with that, coming up next is Morning's Crypto live on air. That will be live. And yeah, then coming up next is noontime, and then afternoons L8 and evenings L8. And with that, it's like a big week across the board. Keep on pushing. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Remember to like the video and consider also, don't forget to subscribe. But also consider becoming a member. You see these people getting these big sums of money, $32,000, $35,000. They're becoming members and getting all this information delivered to them daily, and when forced stimulus becomes law, they're going to get all that money as well. Purple Hawks, get in line, hawk, and get that money first and foremost. Stay informed and stay focused. Have a beautiful morning. I'll see you in just 3 minutes from now with Mornings.